This is Barry. This is Barry Zalma speaking for Claim School Incorporated's blog, Zalma on Insurance. Today we're going to talk about The Hawaiian, a true crime story where a fraud was attempted to fund a failing business only to find the insured imprisoned for 30 whole days. This is a fictionalized true crime story of insurance fraud from my career as an insurance coverage and insurance fraud lawyer. The story is presented to help people understand how insurance fraud in America is costing everyone who buys insurance thousands of dollars every year, and why insurance fraud is safer and more profitable for the perpetrators than any other crime. The insured was a contractor in Honolulu. He made an exceptional and excellent living cheating his customers. The insured's most lucrative scheme was an electronic vermin killer. The device, charged with low voltage from a transformer, strung wires around a customer's house and allegedly repelled the vermin. When it didn't work and a customer called to complain, the insured would simply ignore the complaints. However, the Attorney General of Hawaii eventually filed administrative charges accusing the insured of consumer fraud. His sales began to drop. He needed cash flow. The insured went to the most exclusive jewelry store in Honolulu. The store occupied the 15th floor of a high-rise office building, and to enter he needed to show identification to a guard and pass through 2 steel doors. He bought a single wristwatch at the jeweler and charged it on his American Express card. He asked the jeweler for and received an appraisal of the wristwatch. He then visited the local public library and withdrew 3 textbooks on gemology. He made a xerographic copy of the appraisal and covered the description of the wristwatch with a large yellow Post-it note. He photocopied 20 new copies of the appraisal, and the Post-it note being invisible to the copy machine, and he ended up with 20 clean appraisals with no descriptions. Using the books on gemology, he wrote out descriptions for 45 separate items of ladies' and men's jewelry. He set values beside each item so they totaled over $500,000. Armed with his appraisal, he visited a large retail insurance brokerage in Honolulu. He advised the broker that he had recently acquired the jewelry from his deceased mother and needed it insured. The insured selected the insurer that offered the lowest premium and explained to his broker that he had a slight cash flow problem, and the agent helped him by financing the premium. He made 1 payment on the premium finance contract and then reported a theft. He advised his insurer that jewelry was secured in the locked drawer of his office, which he considered to be a safe. His office was a small structure with a warehouse facility where he parked his construction truck, and on that night, his Ferrari, which he had purchased with the money stolen from the people who bought his vermin control device. It was an employee's birthday, and he and 5 employees went to a local restaurant to celebrate the birthday. Since they could not fit in his Ferrari, they all went in his foreman's 8-passenger van. When they returned from the birthday party, they immediately noticed that the Ferrari was no longer in the warehouse. The aluminum overhead door was off its track, and someone had broken in. He only wanted his family heirlooms back, he told the police, even asked his insurer to offer a reward for the return of the stolen jewelry. Besides advising the investigator of the theft, he informed him that his mother had mailed him the jewelry shortly before her death. He took them to the jewelry store to establish the value of the gift his mother had made to him, and he was astonished that the jewelry had as great a value as reported by the jeweler. He immediately took steps to insure the jewelry. The adjuster began the steps necessary to complete what would be a routine investigation. His first stop was at the jewelry store and he found the gemologist who signed the appraisal. He showed the appraisal to him and asked that he verify it. The jeweler stated, "That's our appraisal form. That is a copy of my signature. I have no record of ever doing this appraisal. I have no recollection of ever doing this appraisal. I have no knowledge of the person with the name of the insured, and that isn't unusual, however, since I do 1,000 appraisals a year." "Do you have your file copy?" the adjuster asked. "Well, that's what's strange," the jeweler replied. "I can't find the file copy. But my secretary, just about the time of this appraisal, began chemotherapy treatment for cancer. She's dying and I can't disturb her." The adjuster next had a friend who works in the South Pacific attempt to verify that the insured's mother did in fact live in a village in the Philippines described by the insured. The investigator was successful. He found neighbors and relatives who knew the insured's mother. He could not, however, verify that she had $500,000 in jewelry to donate to her son. In fact, he found that the insured's mother lived in a one-room house on stakes with a grass roof, no electricity, no running water, and no indoor plumbing. Her ex-husband, however, still lived in Honolulu. And the husband, when questioned, said she had jewelry. It was worth, at least $500. Well, then the adjuster invited the insured's secretary out to lunch. Over a chef's salad and a glass of iced tea, he learned the secretary's life story. After gaining her confidence, the adjuster confirmed and confronted the secretary with the results of his investigation. He told her that he liked her and would be very sorry if she was involved in aiding her boss in committing a crime, but it had become clear to him that the typewriter that typed the name and address of the insured was different from the typewriter that typed the description of the jewelry. She began to cry. The adjuster thanked her, paid for lunch, and suggested she get a new job after she told him that she, in fact, typed up the appraisals. He told her he would do what he could to keep her out of criminal problems. He wrote a simple, brief letter to the insured stating as follows: "Your claim is denied because it was presented by you with the knowledge that it was false and fraudulent." Every 12 months, he would ask the police concerning their investigation, and he would always receive the same response, quote, "We're working on it," close quote. Just before the statute of limitations ran, based on the testimony of the adjuster and the secretary, the insured was convicted of insurance fraud. The court sentenced him to 5 years in jail, suspended, on the condition that he actually served 30 days and that he make restitution of $10,000 in investigation costs to the insurer. He paid $25 a year for 2 years and then nothing further. The probation department wasn't concerned and didn't punish him. The crime he had attempted did not succeed. He did not collect $500,000. The insurance company paid out over $10,000 to its investigators, which it will never recover, and the ordered restitution was never paid. This video was adapted from my book, Insurance Fraud Costs Everyone, which contains over 80 insurance fraud true crime stories and is available at Amazon.com from the links in the blog. Please tell your friends and colleagues about this blog and the videos, and let them subscribe to the blog and the videos. They're free. And if you're interested in further detail about insurance claims, insurance law, and insurance fraud, please consider for a very small fee subscribing to my Substack publication. Thank you for your attention.